Alright, this is Chucky Season 2, Episode 7, Going to the Chapel. And before I get into it, this is a change of scenery. I'm not at my desk because that's by the window, and this time of the year, it's cold as fuck in the Midwest. Too cold for me. So I'm in my bed because I want to be warm. And it's been snowing all day, and that hurts. And my ass hurts because of it. So there we are. Now, it's called Going to the Chapel, and they do that. Last week, I made a joke because I saw the trailer, and I was like, looks like next week would be The Silence of the Lambs meets The Exorcist. It's like I was right. I mean, yeah, so they're all at the church. Most of the cast is at the church, except for Tiffany and Glenn. Yeah, I think Glenn. And so they're all there, reacquainted. And then it starts with this weird monochrome filter, like Sin City, but it's like monochrome, but with like reds, kind of giving more like giving more detail. Like those colors really stand out. Like it's black and white except for those like Sin City. It's like that, black and white except for like reds and sometimes blues, and I don't dig it. That's not my thing. So that they do it a lot, and they kept taking me out of it. I'm not into that at all. And they do that because almost each character, basically each character at the church goes to confessional, and when they do it, it's that weird monochrome Sin City stuff that I don't like, and it's never explained why, because it gets weird. Because these characters are confessing things, like crazy, messed up things, and you don't really get much a reaction from Devin Sawa, who's doing most of these. Not until Mixture, where she reveals her big grand scheme at the end. He's like, "Get out," and whatever. But yeah, and really the only ones of note other ones were blues, were focused on, I guess, like when Devin Sawa was doing his confessional, the Black Nun sees in tears, and I could like literally the single tear rolls down her cheek, and then another one. The girl can cry, that's great, but it's not my thing. And then later on with Nika, I didn't realize how blue her eyes were, and you can see the tears well up in her eyes. That's like the one time I actually liked that whole thing. So yeah, and so it starts with the confessional, and they spread about as they're all getting ready to exorcise Chucky from the doll, and then from Nika, and that is basically the setup of the episode. They get right to it, and but not before Jake takes a doll and tries to murder him for Nadine, and Mixer pulls a gun, a golden gun, by the way. Like I didn't know, I was watching GoldenEye here. But yeah, and she's like, I don't think no, put him down. And he puts him down, and not Mixer. Mixer's gun is in gold. That's later on, but she pulls a gun. She's like, I don't think so. And Jake drops him, whatever. But then Devin Sawa was like, no, we gotta do this. And Mixer wants to be part of that. It's a lot of shit. And Devin Sawa, just like he said last week, he tries to call the Vatican, and they hang up on his ass because obviously, like, what are they supposed to do with the evil murderous doll? He wants to help. Like, no. And so he does it himself. His words, he went rogue, and also he wasn't an ordained priest the whole time. What's he been doing this whole time then? That should be looked into. They've been a priest the whole time. But he says fuck it, and they start to do that, and you see what's in the trailer. Exercising Chucky. Now before Chucky gets in a few good licks to pretty much everyone there, and these are deep licks, like, and these are what the highlight of the episode is, like the comedy. Like, he sings a song about how he murdered so many people who were close to the people in this room, and how they're going to be next, and starts taking shots at him, just insulting him. Even Glenn, like, just deep shots, like, and he starts just one line after one line, like, you think I'm scared to go to hell? I'm from Jersey. And he starts like, no, he's like, you think I'm scared to go to hell? Fuck that, I'm from Jersey. I'm like, okay. And exercises him, and it appears not to work for the longest time, but then he floats, and we know how it is. He splats on the ground, and they even start quoting the Exorcist. The power of Christ compels you. That's the thing, but they say that, and then Chucky says, your mother sucks dicks in hell, or whatever. And Devin's like, we all saw that movie, asshole. But then Chucky's like, but in your case, it's true. She's been busy. Like I said, licks. And yeah. And he winds up biting Devin Sawa's lip. Right? In the same way he ripped out the piercing from the late great Alexis Arquette in Briar Chucky, who she played Damien. Same thing, except not as much blood. He didn't bleed out, but the same thing. And of course, at the sight of blood, he continues to Chucky, and they have a conversation where Chucky and the doll tries to get Chucky and Nika to help him out, and he's like, no. And then Chris punches Nika, get her back. She's like, damn, Saturday. Like, yeah. Andy and Kyle reunite. That was a good moment. They have a lot of great moments in the episode. Really, the best moments for me personally. Like, depending on that, but they had the best. Like, I cared about them the most. The whole episode I found, which was interesting. Like, even more than Tiffany and. But yeah. So while they're doing that, Tiffany is on the run and inside the body of Jennifer Tilly with Glenda, and the Tiffany doll, which is inhabited by Jennifer Tilly. And Tiffany tries to get some food for Glenda, and it's like, why not have Glenda do it? Like, first of all, Jennifer Tilly and Tiffany have a very distinctive voice. Like, you can disguise all you want to, they'll know it's her. And, can you hear my neighbors? And that's what happens. People are trying to get her to sign stuff. She's like, no. Then they see her on the news and see the sleeves. So they're sitting Glenda. And then our truck stop later on, and Jennifer Tilly tries to escape and winds up being hit by a car. That keeps fucking going. I know it's Jersey, but damn. So yeah, they went to Tiffany doll to get hit by a car, like Final Destination, which Devin Saw was in, or like Briar Chucky, the gay dude, played by Gordon Michael Wolfett from Andromeda. Where you points a gun at Jesse and Jade in the car, just it's like it was like that with the Tiffany doll. Oh, excuse me. And that whole effect was great with the CGI blood pool that made its way to Jennifer Tilly / Tiffany. Well, that was not great, the CGI, which is interesting because during the exorcism they managed to get Chucky out of the doll, and he winds up inside of Devin Sawa. You could tell by the eyes. You know, it's Chucky's eyes. Those eyes you see right there. And I didn't know Devin Sawa could kind of do Chucky. Kind of, sort of. And then somebody's like, go to hell. You know that phrase a lot. I was like, go to hell. And he's like, where is it? He's like, no, somebody's like, go to hell. And he's like, okay. And pulls the best way to describe it is a reverse scanners. Like, you've seen scanners, you know the scene where somebody focused on their head and explodes. Well, in this scene, Devin Sawa does this, and his whole fucking body explodes, and then his head just out of nowhere just going towards the camera and up. It's a beautiful effect. His head, his severed head, the jaw blown. There's a big giant hole, and the blood was like that was practical blood. Got all over everybody in there. That's how you do it. I don't know why the CGI said earlier, but the practical play here was fantastic, and they knew it was because they showed that instant replay. Yeah, like Freddy's Dead, the end of Freddy's Dead, when it explodes in the head. They did that, but it actually looked good, like really good. Then you get a super close up of Devin Sawa's head. Such a great effect. Like, my goodness. And then Chucky winds up and Chucky. Well, no, that's it for that Chucky. And then they exercise Nika, who at this point is wearing a blindfold to not see the blood. And they exercise her when Nika says the words, and then Chucky's out of her back into the doll. And then and then the nun. Oh, I forgot there was something else happening. With Lexi, she's like messed up over Nadine. We all are, and she's back on the drugs, and she takes a lot, and she hallucinates fucking Nadine, Angel Nadine, who talks to her and helps her. I mentioned I like Nadine. It was the best season 2 character, in my opinion. And so she helps her and everything. She helps her finally kick the drugs, only for that the nun who worships Chucky to show up, and she's like, ibuprofen, and she's like, what are these? And Lexi's like, yeah, I know. She's like, you could have killed yourself with these. She's like, yeah, take them. I'm done with them. And then nun is like, oh, I don't think so. Again, that's just ibuprofen, YouTube. Okay. So yeah, and next time we see him, this nun has a golden gun pointed to Lexi as she bursts in where everybody's at, and she's like, "I'll trade the girl for the Lord and Savior." And Kyle's like, "The what and what?" And he's like, "Does he mean Chucky?" And so, and then the nun begins to worship Chucky, I guess. And then Glenn takes out the knife Chucky talked about earlier, and just right into the nun's eye as he pulls it out, but then falls because obviously. And Glenn just killed again. And this is a scene like earlier, like I said, the Hannibal Lecter, Chucky's all tied up with the thing on his face, and talking to Glenn, trying to get them to release, like, cut him free and everything. And Glenn's like, nah. Because Glenn just want to know who they are this time around. And Chucky's like, you got a bad hand, kid. Your parents are murderers, and so are you. That's the truth. And that's what that led to that scene. And yeah. And then Chucky is seemingly free. He tries to run, and Angie grabs the golden gun and shoots Chucky, just like in the first movie. Shoots him a bunch of times in the body. One good time in the fucking head. Just blows his mouth clean. The fuck, great effect on Chucky. And then he just keeps shooting him until that's it. And then the episode wants to believe that's it, but I'm like, there's one more episode. And then sure enough, Mixer, we see dropping away doing the Chucky laugh. And next episode, the doll will be back. And there's like a Christmas episode or something. Okay. But yeah. Also, they said that when they killed that Chucky doll on the church, they said it was the last one. I'm like, no, the fuck it's not. At one point, and then they said they're so hard to come by. And I said, At one point, there were 72 of these dogs. They are not hard to come by. And I'm right, next episode. But this episode was treated as the finale, though. And we knew it wasn't, which is weird. Like I said, the Andy and Kyle stuff was the best stuff. And right at the end, it wraps up with Andy and Kyle walking away like they said their goodbyes to everyone. And there's a one-liner from Kyle about how teenage years are a horror show. And they're walking away, Andy and Kyle, and it cuts to footage from Child's Play 2 when they're walking away. My favorite line in the whole movie, a line I had to say myself as an older sibling. Andy's like, so what do we do now? Kyle's like, Andy, I don't know. To end the episode. That would have been a great finale if it were a finale, which we knew it wasn't. But yeah. Into one of my favorite lines of their franchise when I've had to say myself once again as an older sibling. Yeah. So this episode was something. Better than last week's. I'll give it that. Way better than last week's. Even if I had trouble keeping focus because of the damn Sin City confessionals. And that's why I didn't like them, because they were the art style I just do not like. Like us the whole religious thing, no. It's 100% that Frank Miller shit, and I'm not about it at all. I hate it. I really do. And it just was like, another one. Never thought Chucky would become pretentious, you know? But aside from that, I did like the episode. I don't fucking know what's happening with this series, man. So many things are happening, even though nothing's really happening at all. It's weird. But I'm here for the ride, I suppose. Again, much an improvement from last week's episode. Thank you for watching.